Voyager 1 has traveled farther than any human-made object in history, reaching a staggering distance of over 15 billion miles from Earth. Launched in 1977, it was never intended to return home or send back monumental discoveries. It was meant to drift silently through the cosmos, a messenger of human curiosity, carrying a golden record etched with the sounds and languages of Earth, a kind of time capsule for the stars. Decades later, its instruments, long outdated and weakened by time, were expected to fall silent at any moment, consumed by the cold vacuum of space. And then the unexpected happened. Its latest and perhaps final transmission wasn't a goodbye, it was something else entirely. A warning. Within the crackling static, distorted radiation, and low-power data stream, scientists found something buried, something structured, something that defied explanation. What they discovered sent a shiver through the global scientific community. It was a pattern, not random noise, not digital decay, but something mathematically precise, intelligent, and deliberate. A signal composed of neutrinos, tiny, nearly massless subatomic particles that pass through matter almost undetected. Neutrinos are elusive, ghost-like. They are known to travel through planets, stars, even human bodies, without leaving a trace. And yet somehow Voyager 1, a spacecraft never designed to detect them, lacking the necessary instrumentation, shielding, or technology, had captured a neutrino signal. It was an impossibility, something that should have been beyond the capacity of any spacecraft, let alone one built nearly half a century ago. And yet the data was real, repeating, consistent, so mathematically exact that it echoed theoretical models for neutrino oscillations, the way these particles shift between different states. The patterns mirrored simulations and predictions that had never been observed in nature before. The first to notice were researchers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and particle physicists at CERN. At first, they dismissed it as interference, a data artifact, a random error caused by cosmic rays, or a decaying transistor. But the signal held. It repeated precisely, with a structure that defied natural explanation. In desperation and curiosity, scientists fed the data into advanced AI systems, deep learning models originally designed for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, trained to spot artificial signals buried in galactic noise. And that's when mystery deepened. The AI didn't just confirm the signal's artificial structure, it revealed something more disturbing. Within the neutrino oscillation data were sequences of prime numbers, numbers divisible only by themselves and 1. These sequences are considered a hallmark of intelligent communication because they are unlikely to occur naturally. This wasn't a flare from a dying star. It wasn't a neutron star, a pulsar, or a magnetar releasing a burst. This had symmetry, logic, intention. CERN's most experienced physicists were baffled. NASA's engineers ruled out any spacecraft malfunction, software corruption, or electromagnetic contamination. No known physical process aboard Voyager 1 could produce such a signal, nor could it fabricate the detection of something it wasn't equipped to detect in the first place. The only conclusion left was unthinkable. Voyager 1 had intercepted something, something it never should have, something from the vast emptiness between the stars. And what it found might not have been meant for us. The scientific community is now split across 3 profoundly unsettling theories. The first posits that Voyager 1 encountered a new, previously undiscovered force of nature, evidence of sterile neutrinos, or another exotic particle. If confirmed, this discovery would shake the very foundations of physics and force a revision of the Standard Model, the framework that describes the fundamental forces and particles in the universe. The second theory is even more mind-bending. Voyager didn't detect neutrinos by accident. It intercepted a signal, intentionally encoded in neutrinos, possibly sent by an unknown form of intelligence somewhere in deep space. A civilization advanced enough to manipulate neutrinos to transmit information would be far beyond our understanding. The third possibility is the most disturbing and, ironically, the least extraordinary. Voyager 1 systems were altered, interfered with, or manipulated by something in interstellar space, something not of Earth, and not yet understood. Each theory carries tremendous implications, and none of them have ever been observed before. No previous transmission, anomaly, or signal from any deep space mission has displayed anything remotely like this. The implications ripple far beyond science, into philosophy, geopolitics, and the nature of our place in the universe. Voyager's nuclear power source is dwindling. Within a few years, perhaps sooner, it will go dark forever. But in its final moments, it may have sent back something extraordinary, a riddle, a clue, an echo from beyond the stars. Now, major scientific institutions around the world, NASA, CERN, the IceCube Neutrino Observatory, and others, are scouring decades of archived Voyager data, combing through old transmissions to determine whether this signal had ever appeared before, unnoticed and unexplained. Voyager 2, its twin, is being monitored for any similar transmissions. Meanwhile, terrestrial detectors buried deep underground, once solely focused on neutrinos from the sun and supernovae, are now reoriented, listening carefully for a follow-up signal, anything that might help make sense of what Voyager 1 heard. But so far, there has been nothing. Just silence. And still there are leaks. Insiders from NASA and the European Space Agency report that shortly after the signal was decoded, emergency briefings were held behind closed doors. The Pentagon, Chinese National Space Administration, Russian scientists, and top theoretical physicists from Japan and Germany were all brought into the loop. This wasn't just a scientific mystery, it had the markings of a geopolitical emergency. If the signal was sent, if it was deliberate, then someone or something out there knew where to aim. They knew a probe was out there listening, just barely alive, drifting at the edge of the known universe. But then came a chilling realization. The signal wasn't aimed at Earth. Its trajectory, timing, and structure suggested it was part of a larger transmission, meant for somewhere far beyond our solar system, possibly intended for another receiver entirely. Voyager 1 had simply crossed paths with a cosmic conversation not meant for us. We weren't the intended recipient. We were the bystander, the accidental witness. And that possibility raised an even more disturbing question. What happens when you hear a message that wasn't meant for you? Among a fringe yet growing group of physicists and SETI researchers, a new theory is gaining traction. They call it the contact threshold, the idea that there comes a moment in the evolution of any civilization when it becomes capable not just of sending messages, but of hearing those not intended for it. A threshold where silence is replaced with recognition. Voyager, due to its immense distance from Earth, its silent trajectory, and its sheer isolation, may have crossed that threshold, not because it was technologically advanced, but because it was quiet. Quiet enough to be unnoticed. Quiet enough to listen without interrupting. And in doing so, it may have triggered a kind of cosmic protocol, a handshake of sorts, a test, or an invitation. But since that moment, there has been no response. No follow-up transmission. No anomalous data. Just the vast, echoing silence of deep space. And that silence is perhaps the most unsettling part of all. Did we pass a test? Or fail it? Was this a warning, a goodbye, or a countdown? One unshakable fact remains. Voyager 1 is still out there, drifting deeper into the interstellar void. Its instruments are failing. Its systems are shutting down. But the message it captured, whatever it was, has already been received here on Earth. And perhaps more importantly, whoever sent it now knows we were listening. Voyager 1 was never meant to find anything. It was a symbol of human curiosity, a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean, carrying music, greetings, and information about Earth. It was supposed to drift silently for eternity. And for nearly 50 years, it did just that. Until it didn't. Its final transmission was not just a data dump. It was a moment in history, a cosmic threshold crossed. Proof that the universe is not empty. That something out there may be watching. May be waiting. A neutrino signal. Mathematically intentional. Not meant for us, and yet somehow heard by us. Heard by the only machine brave enough to travel that far, to listen in absolute silence. And now, as Voyager 1 systems dim, and its signal weakens into the black, it leaves behind not just data, but a question we may never answer. What happens when you hear a message that wasn't meant for you? Because in that moment, we didn't just detect something. We may have been detected. And the most terrifying part of all? Whatever sent that message hasn't said another word. Let us know what you believe in the comments below. Was it science? Was it contact? Or was it the beginning of something humanity isn't prepared to face? Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because this isn't the end of Voyager's story. It might be the beginning of ours.